I love it.
I mean, if we see a lot of different perspective about, we have like the debate on attribution modeling, how does it going to work in the future based on the privacy issues that we had concerning the cookies model and every stuff and thing like that, third party data. Still, I think the attribution model can be used or effectively analyzed based on the funnel strategy for
Mm,
like first impression, last click impression, position-based, linear. There are other position-based modeling, linear modeling, U-shape, W-shape. There are a lot of attribution models that we can use. But
mhm.
the most important, for example, for the first click attribution, that is exactly basically is to understand that this is the one that is most probably going to fall into the category of the upper funnel, top of the funnel
Yeah.
category, because that purpose of that click or that conversion or that any goal is to get them click on the page, get them click on the button, get them click on creators or anything. So it's gonna give us the complete picture. Same goes for the linear. Linear gives the complete equal distribution across all different touch points that we have. So that comes into the probably in the middle of the time, middle of the funnel, but generally it varies from industry to industry, what the sales cycle look like. So attribution models, I think, play effective role in conversion tracking as well, because
Yeah.
attribution model is also the vital part of our complete customer journey.
Yeah, and what you're saying is that rather than us just focusing on one type of attribution modeling, that depending on what we're looking at, what we're trying to analyze, the answers that we're trying to get, we can use different types of attribution modeling to be able to understand the data. And I think I think it's really important to keep this in mind, because I think we often find ourselves in it has to be this or that. It has to be first click attribution or last click attribution or linear attribution. And what I like to do sometimes is zoom out and say, maybe it doesn't have to be either or, exactly what you just said. Maybe we can
Mhm.
use multiple different ones and see how that affects the data. And I understand that maybe we don't always want to do this, because if we're using 3, 4 different attribution models, it can get
Mhm.
confusing, right, with all of the different
Yeah.
data. And I think for a lot of marketers and a lot of teams, they want to find the single source of truth, which I totally
Yeah.
get. However, and I think to a certain extent, we can. So probably for the most part, when you're working on a particular client, you might start to focus on one part of the funnel. Like, for example, with one client, you might be focusing on the lower part of the funnel. Therefore, you'll be more focused on last click attribution or the MMM models. Um,
Mhm.
but then every so often, it's probably a good idea to take a step back and look at the different attribution models just to get a holistic overview of what is happening everywhere in the funnel, and not just to just ignore everything else and say, okay, this is the only thing that I'm using. So I'd say maybe, I don't know about your input on this, but maybe doing something like that once per quarter or once every half year or even once a year, just to zoom out and be like, are we looking at the right metrics? Are we using
Mhm.
the right attribution model for what we want to understand and for how we want to analyze the campaigns? Is there anything else that we could be looking at? Because I think
Sure.
once you get on this very tunnel vision approach and you're like, this is all I'm looking at, something might be happening somewhere else in the funnel, somewhere else in the customer journey. Something might have changed that you might end up missing. And I think that this closes the loop nicely to say that in the
Mhm.
end, we are using all of this data to understand our customers,
Mhm.
which helps us to understand, like understanding our customer and understanding our campaign performance. It's two sides of the
Mhm.
same coin, right? Because customer behavior affects campaign performance. And this is what we constantly need to be looking at. Are we doing the right things to understand our customer?